9-year-old black girl begs for mercy as stepmother abuses her and baby brother. Then their father walks in unexpectedly. What happened next shocked everyone. Hello everyone, welcome to our story. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Elijah Thompson sat in his cold office. At 42, he owned and worked from the top floor of Tech Pinnacle, one of the most iconic buildings in the heart of Silicon Valley, San Francisco. On his desk rested a gold fountain pen and a thick stack of documents. He signed each page like a machine. The bright lights gleamed off the expensive watch on his wrist. His tailored suit hugged his shoulders perfectly. His polished black shoes shone under the desk. Everything around him screamed money, success, and power, the very things any man might dream of. But inside, his heart was empty. Elijah had once known a happy family. Aisha, his first wife, had been the light of his life. Zuri, their daughter, used to run around the yard with her curly black hair bouncing in the wind. And then there was Kai, the baby boy, only 9 months old, born when his mother, Aisha, died. The doctors said she suffered a severe infection after Kai's birth, and they couldn't save her. Elijah felt like his whole world had been ripped away. He leaned back, rubbing his temples. Success? Yeah, he had it in spades. The tailored suit clinging to his broad shoulders screamed boardroom boss. Polished loafers kicked up on the desk edge, shining like they were fresh out of the box. But inside, a void that no deal could fill. Elijah used to have it all, the real stuff. Aisha, his first wife, had been his anchor, the woman who lit up every room with her laugh. She'd been his partner in crime, pushing him through those early startup grinds. Then there was Zuri, their spitfire of a daughter. At 9, she was all energy, her curly black hair bouncing like wild springs as she chased butterflies in the backyard of their Palo Alto mansion. And Kai, the baby boy who'd flipped their world upside down. 9 months old now, with those chubby cheeks and eyes that mirrored Aisha's. Deep brown pools full of curiosity. But Kai's birth had stolen her away. The doctors called it a postpartum infection, some rare complication that hit like a freight train. One day she was holding their son, beaming through the exhaustion. The next she was gone. Elijah felt like someone had gut-punched him and left him gasping. 9 months. That's how long it had been since he buried her. 9 months of drowning in work to numb the ache. Board meetings in New York, product launches in Seattle, investor pitches in London. Anything to avoid the quiet house where her absence screamed loudest. He hadn't played catch with Zuri in forever. Hell, he couldn't remember the last time he'd cradled Kai, felt that tiny heartbeat against his chest. Work was his escape hatch, his shield. But lately, cracks were showing. Late nights alone in hotel rooms, scrolling through old photos of Aisha's smile, wondering if he was screwing it all up. That's where Nadia came in. She'd slipped into his life like a lifeline. A stunning black woman with curves that turned heads and a smile that promised salvation. She'd been Aisha's colleague back in the fashion design world. Nadia handled high-end couture lines, always dressed to kill in those form-fitting dresses that screamed confidence. After Aisha's funeral, Nadia showed up at the house with casseroles and kind words, stepping in to fill the void. She scooped up the kids like they were hers, cooing over Kai's giggles and braiding Zuri's wild curls with patient hands. Elijah watched from the sidelines, grateful. At least they've got a mom figure, he'd tell himself. Better than growing up with a ghost of a dad like me. He married her 6 months after Aisha's death. Quick? Maybe. But Nadia seemed perfect. Sexy, supportive, handling the chaos he couldn't face. She quit her design gig to focus on the family, or so she said. Elijah threw himself deeper into work, jetting off for weeks at a time, convinced everything was fine back home. Nadia sent him pics. Zuri grinning at the park, Kai napping peacefully. We're good here, babe, her text read. Miss you, but handle your empire. It eased the guilt, let him pretend he wasn't failing. But deep down, doubts nagged. Zuri's calls had gotten shorter, her voice flatter. Yeah, Dad, everything's okay. And Kai? The kid was too young to talk, but Elijah wondered if he even remembered his face. Harriet, their longtime housekeeper, a warm, no-nonsense black woman in her 60s, who'd been with them since Zuri was in diapers, had left a couple of cryptic voicemails. "Mr. Thompson, we should chat when you're back." He'd brushed it off as nothing, too buried in emails to dig deeper. Tonight, though, something shifted. Elijah slammed the last folder shut, the thud echoing in the empty office. He stood, catching his reflection in the window. Tired eyes, lines etched deeper than they should be at his age. A wave of warmth hit him, unbidden. What if he headed home early? No heads up, just surprise the kids. Maybe Zuri would light up, tackle him with a hug. Maybe he'd finally hold Kai, feel that baby softness melt away the ice in his chest. The thought sparked a flicker of hope, the first real one in months. He grabbed his coat, ignoring the buzzing phone. Probably another late-night crisis from the team. Screw it. The elevator dinged, carrying him down to the garage where his Tesla waited, sleek and silent. As he sped onto the highway toward Palo Alto, the city lights blurred into streaks. The mansion loomed in his mind, once a haven of laughter, now just a pit stop between flights. But tonight felt different. He craved connection, something real beyond the boardroom bullshit. Little did he know, the house wasn't quiet because of peace. It was the calm before the storm. Zuri, with her signature curls matted and eyes wide with fear, huddled in the corner of the playroom, shielding Kai from Nadia's wrath. "Please, not today," Zuri whispered to herself, her small frame trembling. Nadia towered over them, her designer heels clicking like warnings, her sweet facade cracking into something vicious. "You little brats think you can cry and get away with it?" she'd hiss when Elijah was gone. Harriet peeked from the kitchen, heartbreaking, but Nadia's threats, "Spill a word and you're out on the street, old lady," kept her silent. Photos hidden on her phone told the real story. Bruises, empty plates, locked doors. Elijah accelerated, the engine humming low. Home, family, redemption. If only he knew the nightmare waiting behind those grand doors. Elijah gripped the steering wheel tighter as his Tesla zipped down the winding roads toward Palo Alto. The sun dipped low over the hills, casting long shadows that danced across the dashboard. After a month grinding through meetings in Europe, pitching AI breakthroughs to investors who only cared about the bottom line, he was done. No more excuses. Tonight he'd show up unannounced, scoop up Zuri in a bear hug, maybe even get Kai to crack a smile. The thought hit him like a caffeine rush, cutting through the fog of exhaustion. "Man, I've been ghosting my own kids," he muttered to himself, shaking his head. Work had been his crutch, but damn, it was time to step up. The mansion's gates swung open with a soft beep from his key fob. He pulled into the driveway, the gravel crunching under the tires like a welcome he didn't deserve. The place looked picture perfect as always, manicured lawns, floor-to-ceiling windows glowing with warm light. But as he killed the engine and stepped out, a weird chill hit him. No kid squeals, no music blasting from the kitchen where Aisha used to dance while cooking. Just silence, thick and unnatural. Elijah shrugged it off, grabbing his coat from the back seat. "Surprise time," he whispered, forcing a grin. He'd sneak in, maybe hide behind the door like some goofy dad from a sitcom. He slipped through the front door quietly, the grand foyer echoing his footsteps on the marble floor. The chandelier overhead threw sparkles everywhere, but the air felt heavy, stale. He set his bag down on the entry table, easing off his shoes to keep the element of surprise. Then from down the hall, toward the family room, a faint whimper cut through the quiet. "Kai?" The baby's cry was weak, like he'd been at it for a while and was running out of steam. Elijah froze, his pulse kicking up a notch. Before he could brush it off as teething or whatever, another voice piped up, small, trembling, Zuri's. "Please don't hit me and my brother anymore." The words slammed into him like a truck. Elijah's blood turned to ice, his body locking up mid-step. Hit? What the hell? His mind raced, denial surging first. Nah, he must have heard wrong. But Zuri's voice cracked again, begging now, and Kai's sobs ramped up in response. Elijah's hands balled into fists, nails digging into his palms. He crept forward, heart hammering like it wanted out of his chest. The hallway seemed to stretch forever, each step amplifying the sounds. A sharp slap, Zuri's gasp, Nadia's voice hissing low and mean. Shut your mouth, you little pest. How many times do I have to say it? Don't test me, or I'll toss you both out like yesterday's trash. Elijah rounded the corner, staying just out of sight behind the doorframe. His breath caught, world tilting. There on the plush rug in the family room, Zuri huddled like a cornered animal. Her pink dress, once her favorite, was filthy, torn at the seams like it had been yanked hard. Her curly hair, usually so bouncy, hung limp and tangled over her face. She clutched Kai to her chest, her skinny arms wrapped around him like a shield. The baby's face was blotchy red, tiny fists waving weakly as he wailed. Red marks dotted his chubby arms, fingerprints clear as day. Zuri's shoulders shook, her big eyes darting up in terror. Towering over them was Nadia, all dolled up in a tight black dress that screamed date night, not family time. Her hair was sleek, makeup on point, but her expression? Pure venom, no trace of the sweet wife who'd sent him those cute kid pics. I said quiet, she snapped, raising a hand like she was about to strike again. Elijah's vision tunneled. This couldn't be real. His wife, his rescue after Aisha, turning into this monster? He burst in, legs moving on autopilot. Stop! The word ripped out of him, raw and commanding. Nadia whipped around, eyes widening for a split second before she plastered on that fake-ass smile. Elijah shoved between her and the kids, scooping Kai up awkwardly. God, when was the last time he'd held him? The baby felt too light, too fragile. His cries muffled against Elijah's chest. Zuri, come to Daddy. But Zuri stayed frozen, fingers twisting in her torn dress, eyes flicking between him and Nadia, like she was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Nadia recovered fast, tilting her head with that honey-sweet tone. Elijah? You're home early. I was just teaching them some manners. These two have been wild all day. She stepped closer, laying a hand on his arm like nothing had happened. You look beat, babe. Don't sweat the kid drama. Doc said structure's key, right? I've been solo parenting for a month. I know their tricks better than anyone. Elijah's throat burned. He glanced down at Zuri. Her dress wasn't just dirty. Rips looked deliberate, like grabs gone wrong. Kai's mark screamed abuse, not firm hold bullshit. And the fear in Zuri's eyes, it gutted him. What the hell is this? He growled, voice low to not scare the kids more. Nadia's smile faltered, but she doubled down. Oh, honey, you're overreacting because you've been gone so long. Everything seems worse when you're jet-lagged. Kids mimic adults. Maybe they're picking up on your stress. The jab landed, twisting like a knife. Elijah looked at his daughter. Really looked. Gaunt cheeks, hollow eyes. Kai whimpered, nuzzling closer like he finally felt safe. For the first time in months, Elijah saw the damage. But before he could fire back, Harriet appeared in the doorway, her face etched with worry. The older woman had been family forever, her warm presence a constant since Aisha's days. Mr. Thompson, she said softly, eyes darting to the kids, then Nadia, then him, like she had a bomb to drop but couldn't light the fuse yet. Nadia jumped in smooth as silk. Harriet's been a godsend, hasn't she? Knows how tough wrangling kids is when Dad's always MIA. Harriet nodded slowly, but Elijah caught the flicker. Fear mixed with urgency. She cleared her throat. Coffee, sir? You must be wiped from the trip. Her voice held a plea. Talk later. Alone. Elijah knelt, ignoring the way his suit wrinkled on the floor. Zuri, baby girl, what happened to your dress? Zuri's lips quivered, eyes locking on Nadia before snapping back. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Just silent tears. Nadia laughed it off. Kids play rough, Eli. She was monkeying around in the backyard. I told her to chill, but you know how they are. Elijah touched the tear, definitely not from a tree, grabbed, yanked, hard. Is that true, Zuri? Tree climbing? Her bottom lip trembled harder. She glanced at Nadia again, terror winning. Kai fussed in Elijah's arms, and as he shifted the baby, those red marks glared back. Nadia, he said, voice steel now. Explain these to Kai. Her smile twitched. He's fussy lately. I hold him tight so he doesn't squirm and fall. Babies get marks. Normal stuff per the pediatrician. Bullshit. Elijah knew bruises from rough play. These were grips meant to hurt. Harriet hovered, her hint clearer now. Something rotten here, and she knew it. Yeah, coffee sounds good, he said, eyes on her. Nadia, sensing the shift, perked up. I'll get Zuri cleaned up and warm some milk for Kai. But Elijah blocked her. Nah, I've got it. You've done enough. The words hung heavy, sharper than he meant. Nadia's eyes flashed, pure rage, before the mask slipped back. Whatever you say, love. Holler if you need me. She clicked away on those heels, but Elijah caught her reflection in the window. Sweet gone, replaced by ice-cold fury. He hugged Zuri close, feeling her tremble. It's okay now, he whispered, but doubt gnawed. What had gone down while he chased deals? How long had his kids suffered? Harriet's eyes said plenty. Time to uncover the truth. Elijah's gut twisted. This surprise homecoming just blew open a nightmare. No turning back. Elijah stood there in the family room, Kai's tiny body pressed against his chest, the baby's whimpers fading into soft hiccups. Zuri clung to his leg like a lifeline, her small fingers digging into his pants. Nadia's heels echoed down the hall, fading but leaving a chill in the air. Elijah's mind reeled. How had he missed this? His wife, the woman he'd trusted with everything, was turning into a stranger right under his nose. It's okay, kids, he murmured, voice cracking just a bit. But was it? Kai felt like a feather in his arms, too damn light for a 9-month-old. Zuri's dress hung loose on her frame, like she'd shrunk in the wash. Nadia sauntered back in before he could process, carrying a tray with coffee mugs like nothing had gone down. Here, babe, she said, that sugar-sweet smile back in place. Fresh brew to take the edge off. You look like you need it after that flight. She set it down, eyes flicking to the kids with a calculated softness. Elijah didn't buy it anymore. He shifted Kai to one arm, blocking her view of Zuri. What the hell was that, Nadia? I walk in and hear my daughter begging you not to hit them? Her eyes widened, all innocent. Eli, honey, you're blowing this out of proportion. Kids throw tantrums. Zuri was being dramatic and Kai was teething. I was just setting boundaries like we talked about. She stepped closer, touching his sleeve lightly. You've been gone forever. Everything seems bigger when you're not in the loop. Remember the doc said structure helps? I've been holding it down solo, babe. It's tough, but I'm doing it for us. Elijah's jaw tightened. Boundaries? That didn't explain the marks, the fear radiating off Zuri like heat from a fire. Dramatic? She's shaking, Nadia, and Kai's got bruises shaped like fingers. He glanced down. Zuri's eyes were glued to the floor, shoulders hunched. Nadia tilted her head, letting out a soft sigh. Babies bruise easily, Eli. He's squirmy. I have to grip him sometimes so he doesn't flop around. And Zuri? She's been testing limits since you left. Climbing stuff, making messes. I told her no, but kids gotta learn the hard way. The words slithered out smooth, but Elijah caught the edge. A subtle dig at him. If you were around more, you'd get it, she added, voice dropping low. They're picking up on your absence, acting out because daddy's always jetting off chasing the next big deal. It stung, hitting that guilt spot dead on. He had been gone, burying grief in boardrooms. But this wasn't on him. Zuri whimpered softly and Elijah knelt, pulling her close. She buried her face in his shirt, body rigid like she expected a blow any second. Harriet lingered in the doorway, twisting her apron in her hands. Her eyes met Elijah's, pleading, urgent. Mr. Thompson, that coffee's getting cold, she said, voice steady but laced with something deeper. Nadia shot her a look, sharp as a knife. Harriet's right. Let's not drag this out. Kids need routine. But Elijah waved Nadia off. Go ahead to the kitchen. I'll handle bedtime. Nadia's smile tightened, but she nodded. Sure, love. Whatever you need. She leaned in for a kiss on his cheek, but he turned away just enough. As she clicked out, her posture shifted, shoulders squaring like she was gearing up for war. Elijah scooped Zuri up with his free arm, carrying both kids upstairs to the nursery. The room smelled like baby powder and neglect, toys neatly shelved, but dust gathered in corners. He set Kai in the changing table, fumbling with a fresh onesie. When was the last time he'd done this? Zuri perched on the edge of the bed, swinging her legs, eyes downcast. Zuri, talk to me, baby girl. What goes on when I'm not here? She fidgeted, twisting a curl around her finger. We, we try to be good, Daddy. Real good. Good how? Elijah pressed gently, snapping Kai's buttons with shaky hands. Zuri's voice dropped to a whisper. Quiet. No messes. No asking for snacks except mealtime. He froze mid-snap. And if you're hungry, Nadia says we're greedy. Says be thankful for what we get. Elijah's chest squeezed like a vice. What do you get, sweetheart? Bread sometimes. Water. Nadia says we're ungrateful if we complain. Zuri looked up, eyes pooling. Are we bad, Daddy? She says we don't appreciate her hard work. Elijah's vision blurred with hot rage. He knelt, taking her thin hands. Cold, fragile. No way, baby. You're the best kids ever. No one should make you go hungry. Zuri crumbled then, sobs shaking her frame. Not scared ones, but the kind that had been bottled up too long. Elijah pulled her into a hug, and Kai was sandwiched between them. The baby stared up, wide-eyed, like he was piecing together this stranger's face. I'm sorry, Elijah choked out. So damn sorry I wasn't here. After getting Zuri into PJs and warming a bottle for Kai, Elijah tucked them in, lingering until their breaths evened out. Downstairs, Harriet waited in the side room off the kitchen, the spot where she and Aisha used to plan grocery runs over tea. She looked up as he closed the door, eyes glistening. Mr. Thompson, I should have reached out sooner. Elijah sank into a chair, rubbing his face. Spill it, Harriet. All of it. She nodded, voice cracking. I tried, but she threatened me. Said she'd get me fired, blackball me everywhere. No one hires an old housekeeper with a rep for stirring trouble. Elijah leaned forward. But the kids... Harriet's face crumpled. Oh, sir, what she does when you're gone. Lock 'em in rooms for hours. One measly meal a day. Calls it gratitude lessons. Last week, Zuri spilled juice. Nadia made her scrub the whole kitchen floor with a rag the size of a washcloth. Took 3 hours, girl's knees were raw and bleeding. Elijah felt bile rise. And Kai? Barely feeds him. Says his crying is annoying, and he needs to learn to be quiet. I'd hear him wailing forever, but she blocked me from helping. Harriet's hands shook. I snuck him bottles when I could, but... Elijah slammed a fist on the table, soft enough not to wake the house. Why no cops? Why not blow it up? Harriet sighed deeply. Tried calling you once. She caught me, snatched my phone, said she'd pin theft on me. Who'd believe an old lady over the boss's wife? Clever. Nadia had isolated them all. Kids too scared, Harriet muzzled, him too absent. There's more, Harriet said, pulling out her phone. I started snapping pics. Couldn't stand by anymore, even if it cost my job. She swiped through Zuri's bruised knees, Kai's pinch marks, a door bolted from outside, and an empty high chair at dinner time. Each shot hit Elijah like a punch. Proof, cold and undeniable. He stared at the screen, hands trembling. Harriet, you're a hero for this. Might have saved their lives. She wiped her eyes. What now, sir? Elijah paced, mind racing. I'm calling Daniel Brooks, my lawyer buddy from college. We'll nail her. Make sure she never touches them again. Harriet nodded fiercely. She'll fight dirty, twist it on you. Let her try. I've got truth on my side, and folks like you who risked it all. Elijah clasped her shoulder. Thanks for holding the fort. As Harriet headed to her quarters, Elijah stood alone in the dim light. No more running, no more blind trust. He was done being the absentee dad chasing ghosts. From here on, he was their shield, their fighter. Time to gear up for war. Elijah paced the kitchen at dawn, coffee mug steaming in his hand but untouched. Sleep? Forget it. Images from last night looped in his head. Zuri's tears, Kai's bruises, Harriet's damning photos. Nadia had crashed out in the guest room after a tense dinner, where she played the doting wife card hard. Everything's fine, Eli, she'd cooed, but he saw through it now. He grabbed his phone, dialing Daniel Brooks before the sun fully rose. Dan, it's Elijah. Need you, man. Urgent. About the kids. Daniel's voice came through groggy but sharp. Elijah, been ages. What's up? Elijah spilled it all in a rush. The surprise homecoming, the begging, the marks, Harriet's pics. She's hurting them, Dan. My own wife. Silence stretched, then Daniel's tone turned all business. That's heavy, brother. Get the kids and that housekeeper to my office today. We'll lock this down. Elijah exhaled, a knot loosening. 2 p.m. work. See you then. By noon, Elijah bundled Zuri and Kai into the Tesla, with Harriet riding shotgun. Zuri sat quietly in the back, holding Kai's hand like a mini guardian. Where are we going, Daddy? She asked, voice small. Elijah glanced in the rear view. To see a friend who'll help keep you safe, baby girl. Traffic crawled through San Francisco, the Golden Gate peeking through fog. But Elijah's mind raced ahead. Nadia had texted sweet nothings. Miss you already, babe. But he ignored them. Game on. Daniel's office sat in a slick downtown high-rise, all glass and steel. The waiting room had comfy chairs and kid books, but Zuri stuck close, eyes wary. Daniel greeted them with a firm handshake. Tall guy, kind eyes, the type who fought dirty in court, but played fair in life. Elijah, good to see you, even like this. And these must be Zuri and little Kai. Zuri peeked from behind Elijah's leg. It's okay, kiddo, Elijah said. Uncle Dan's on our team. Harriet stepped up, nodding respectfully. Mr. Brooks, Elijah says you're the best. Daniel smiled. Appreciate that. Let's see what we've got. In his conference room, Harriet pulled out her phone, swiping through the evidence. Daniel's face hardened with each pick. Zuri's raw knees, Kai's grip marks, bolted doors. This is solid, he said, leaning back. Physical abuse, neglect, clear as day. Harriet, you'd testify to what you saw? She straightened. Damn right. Those babies have suffered enough. Daniel turned to Elijah. Now, the tough part. We file for emergency custody tomorrow. Nadia gets served. She'll know you're gunning for full rights. Elijah nodded, gut twisting. She'll flip. Worse, Daniel said. Women like her don't fold. She's living large. Your money, your crib, your status. Expect a counterpunch, painting you as the deadbeat dad who's never around. Elijah winced. I have been gone. Daniel held up a hand. We flipped that script. Proof's on our side. Photos, Harriet's word. But heads up, she'll lawyer up quick. Probably Lauren Hayes. That woman's a shark in heels, turns abusers into saints. Elijah felt his stomach drop. We could lose? Not if we're smart, Daniel shot back. Prep for mudslinging. She'll say you ditched the kids post Aisha, left her holding the bag. He knelt to Zuri's level. Hey, tough cookie. Think you could tell a judge what happened when Dad was away? Zuri glanced at Elijah, then back. Will they believe me? Daniel smiled gently. If you spill the truth? Yeah. Judges spot real from fake, especially from kids. Zuri chewed her lip, then nodded slowly. If it keeps Kai safe. Yeah. As they wrapped, Elijah felt a mix of relief from the plan and dread from the storm brewing. Back home, Zuri hummed softly to Kai in the living room, a lullaby Aisha used to sing. Elijah watched, heart aching. Zuri, about talking to the judge. She looked up, serious beyond her years. It might be scary, but it'd help us win. She fiddled with Kai's blanket. Will you be there? Every second. And Harriet? Yup. Zuri nodded. Then okay. Kai can't protect himself. I got him. 2 days later, Elijah played blocks with the kids when the doorbell chimed. Through the peephole, a guy in a uniform, envelope in hand. Process server for Nadia Thompson. Elijah's pulse spiked. This was it. The emergency filing. She's upstairs. Minutes ticked, then a shriek echoed down. Nadia stormed the stairs, papers clutched like weapons, face twisted ugly. What the fuck is this, Elijah? Zuri and Kai flinched, scooting closer to him. Elijah stood calmly. Call a lawyer, Nadia. She waved the docs. Lies, you can't snatch them from me. I raised them while you chased cash. You hurt them, he said flatly. Discipline, she snarled, voice rising. Scary. They were brats. I taught respect. Harriet appeared, ready to whisk the kids away. Nadia zeroing D in on her. You're doing, huh? Filling his head with bullshit. Harriet held ground. Just truth. Nadia's laugh turned cold. Truth? You're a jealous hag. And I got pics too. of empty rooms while Daddy globetrots. Elijah's phone buzzed. Daniel. She hired Hayes. Counterfiling. You're unfit. She wants full custody. Nadia grabbed her purse, heading out. Lauren Hayes is going to bury you. Wait till the judge hears how you abandoned them for your empire. The door slammed, leaving silence. Zuri whispered, Is she taking us? Elijah hugged them tight. No way. We're fighting. And winning. But inside, fear gnawed. He'd been absent. What if the court bought her spin? Still, resolve burned hot. For Zuri's bravery, Kai's innocence. He'd go to war. Elijah gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white as he navigated San Francisco's snarled traffic toward the courthouse. Butterflies churned in his gut. Hell, more like hornets. Zuri sat in the back, humming softly to Kai, who gnawed on a teether with drooly determination. Harriet rode shotgun, her usual warm chatter replaced by tense silence. The week leading up had been a blur. Late-night strategy sessions with Daniel, prepping Zuri with gentle questions, dodging Nadia's icy texts demanding talks. Elijah hadn't slept worth a damn, visions of failure haunting him. What if the judge bought Nadia's act? What if Zuri froze? You got this, kids, he muttered, more to himself than anyone. The courthouse loomed, a massive stone beast with steps that screamed intimidation. Elijah parked, scooping Kai into a carrier and taking Zuri's hand. Remember, baby girl, just tell the truth if asked. Zuri nodded, her curls bouncing, but eyes serious. I know, Daddy. For Kai. Inside, the halls buzzed with whispers and clipboard clicks, everyone in suits looking too damn serious. Daniel waited outside the courtroom, tie straight, game face on. Showtime, he said, clapping Elijah's shoulder. Stay cool. No reactions. Even if Hayes pushes buttons. The courtroom was smaller than Elijah expected. Wood-paneled walls, a high bench where Judge Elena Ramirez would call the shots. She entered like she owned the place, mid-50s with sharp eyes, angry-streaked hair pulled tight. All rise, the bailiff barked. Elijah stood, heart pounding, as Ramirez settled in. Be seated. We're here for Thompson versus Thompson, custody of minors Zuri and Kai Thompson. Across the aisle, Nadia sat prim in a navy dress, dabbing eyes with a tissue, Oscar-worthy victim vibes. Lauren Hayes flanked her, blonde hair, sleek, suit-screaming power. Elijah's stomach flipped. This was real. Mr. Brooks, you're opening, Ramirez said, voice even but commanding. Daniel stood tall. Thank you, Your Honor. We're here because two innocent kids suffered in silence while their dad built a life for them. Nadia Thompson abused, starved, and terrorized them for months. He clicked a remote, screens lit with Harriet's photos, Zuri's torn dress, Kai's red marks, locked doors. Gasps rippled through the gallery. These show physical harm, malnourishment. We have eyewitness testimony from Harriet Jenkins, the family housekeeper. Harriet took the stand, hands clasped tight. Daniel eased her in. Harriet, how long with the Thompsons? 12 years, sir. Watched Zuri from diapers, helped Aisha run the house. Her voice steadied. Home was full of love back then. What changed? Daniel prompted. Harriet's eyes flicked to Nadia, then away. When Nadia married in, it flipped. Sweet as pie with Elijah home, but alone? Cruel. She detailed it. Locked rooms for hours, skimpy meals as lessons, Zuri scrubbing floors till her knees bled. Kai cried, hungry, but she ignored him, said he needed to toughen up. Ramirez leaned forward, scribbling notes. You intervened? Wanted to, Your Honor, but she threatened my job, said I'd never work again. Old housekeeper versus rich wife. No contest. Harriet's chin lifted. So I snapped pics. Had to do something. Daniel projected more evidence. This proves systematic abuse. Harriet stepped down, shooting Elijah a nod, solid as rock. Ramirez turned to Hayes. Your response, Ms. Hayes? Lauren rose smoothly, heels clicking like warnings. Thank you, Your Honor. My client, Nadia Thompson, is the real victim. Married to a workaholic, sacrificed her fashion design career to raise grieving kids alone. She gestured to Nadia, who sniffled perfectly timed. She provided structure while Elijah chased billions. Discipline? Yes. Abuse? No. Lauren paced. Elijah traveled 25 days a month, missed doctor visits, school plays, bedtimes, left Nadia to handle the mess. Elijah's fist clenched under the table. Daniel's hand on his arm kept him grounded. Lauren waved at the photos. Kids get banged up playing. Zuri's active, Kai's wiggly. Harriet, jealous old-timer resenting Nadia's spot. She smirked. No hard proof, just snaps from a biased source. Ramirez's face stayed neutral. Your client testifies? Yes. Nadia took the stand, composure locked in. Lauren led softly. Nadia, your bond with the kids? Nadia's voice dripped honey. I love them like my own, Your Honor. Stepping in after Aisha's death was tough. Zuri angry, Kai colicky, Elijah grieved by working nonstop. I was solo most days. She dabbed her eyes. Gave up my design gigs for stability. How'd you manage? Lauren asked. Our safety rules, healthy meals, no endless snacks, taught respect. Nadia locked eyes with Ramirez. Never hurt them. Firm sometimes, but from love. If Elijah were around, he'd see. Elijah seethed inside. Lies wrapped in sugar. Ramirez probed. The photos. Play injuries, Your Honor. Zuri climbs everything. Kai falls while learning to crawl. I patch them up always. Food issues? Scheduled eats for health. Kids whine for junk, but that's normal. Lauren rapped. Nadia's a devoted stepmom, stabilizing while Dad prioritized empire. Nadia stepped down, shooting Elijah a pitying look that screamed victory. Tension hung thick. Elijah's palms sweated. Ramirez scanned notes. I've heard both sides. Evidence points to abuse, but the defense raises neglect from absence. Daniel tensed. Your Honor, the photos, Ramirez cut in. Strong, but I need the full picture. Her eyes landed on Zuri, small in her seat. The child is old enough to speak. Zuri, would you talk to me? Elijah's heart stopped. Zuri looked up, scared but steady. Yes, ma'am, Ramirez nodded. Approach the bench. Elijah squeezed Zuri's hand. You got this. But inside, panic surged. His baby girl facing the shark tank. Hayes smiled predatorily. Nadia leaned forward. The room held its breath as Zuri walked forward, tiny steps echoing big. Zuri's small hand slipped from Elijah's as she stepped forward, her sneakers squeaking softly on the courtroom floor. The room felt massive, eyes boring into her like spotlights. She climbed into the witness chair, legs dangling short of the ground, curls framing her face like a shield. Elijah's heart hammered, his baby girl, 9 years old, facing this circus. Daniel gave a subtle nod. Harriet clutched her hands tight. Nadia leaned forward across the aisle, mask cracking just a hair. Judge Ramirez softened her voice, leaning in. Hi there, Zuri. I'm Judge Ramirez. Thanks for being brave enough to chat with me today. Zuri nodded, twisting her fingers in her lap. Ramirez smiled gently. I know this might feel scary, but you're safe here. Your dad's right over there. He's not going anywhere. See him? Zuri turned, locking eyes with Elijah. He mouthed, I love you, forcing a thumbs up through the knot in his throat. Yes, ma'am, Zuri whispered, voice tiny but clear. Good, Ramirez said. Now tell me about home life with Nadia. Zuri swallowed hard, glancing at the floor. When Daddy's home, Nadia's nice. She smiles, cooks yummy stuff, talks sweet to me and Kai. Ramirez nodded, scribbling. And when Daddy's away? Zuri's voice dipped lower, like sharing a secret that burned. Everything changes. Elijah held his breath. Daniel tensed beside him. How so? Ramirez prompted softly. Zuri looked back at Elijah. He nodded firmly. She gets real mad, Zuri said, words tumbling faster. Yells for little things like spilling water or Kai crying. Says we're bad kids. Ramirez's pen paused. What happens when she's mad? Locks us in rooms, sometimes all day. Can't even go potty. Murmurs rippled. Hayes whispered to Nadia, who shook her head sharply. What did you eat with Nadia in charge? Ramirez asked. Sometimes just bread, or nothing till night. Zuri's eyes welled. Says we're greedy if we ask. And Kai? No, ma'am. He's always hungry. Cries 'cause his tummy hurts, but she says learn to hush. Elijah's fist clenched. Harriet dabbed her eyes. The room hung on every word. Did Nadia hurt you or Kai with her hands? Ramirez pressed gently. Zuri nodded slowly. Grabs my arms hard when I mess up. Grabs Kai too, even though he's a baby. Tell you not to tell Daddy? Yeah, says she'll throw us out. Nobody wants bad kids like us. Silence blanketed the court. Even the bailiff shifted uneasily. But I can't stay quiet, Zuri added, voice gaining steel, looking straight at Ramirez. Kai's too little to fight back. Someone's got to tell what happened. Ramirez nodded respectfully. Thanks for that bravery, Zuri. One more. Feel safe with Daddy? Zuri's face lit up, the first real spark. Yes, ma'am. He keeps us safe now. Reads stories, makes sure we're full. No locks. With Daddy, I'm not scared. Thank you. Back to your seat. Zuri hopped down, dashing into Elijah's arms. He hugged her fiercely, whispering, Proud of you, baby. But Hayes stood quick. Your Honor, a few questions for the child? Elijah's gut twisted. Daniel gripped his arm. Limited ones, Ramirez warned. Keep it kid-friendly. Hayes approached with a fake warm smile, like a wolf in sheep's clothes. Hey, Zuri, you love your daddy a ton, right? Zuri nodded warily. Yes. Missed him badly when he traveled? Yes. Hayes's tone sharpened subtly. When we miss folks, memories get fuzzy sometimes. Maybe you thought Nadia was meaner than she was? Zuri frowned. I don't get it. Hayes leaned in. Well, feeling sad about Daddy gone might make you mix up stuff. Feelings can play tricks, huh? Daniel half rose to object, but Zuri's voice cut clear, stronger than before. No, ma'am. My feelings didn't trick me. Hayes blinked, caught off guard. But Nadia was mean every day Daddy was gone. Zuri pushed on, sitting taller. Hurt us, scared us, starved us. That's not feelings. That's what happened for real. Hayes recovered, voice edging sharper. Zuri, maybe you misunderstood. Nadia's just teaching rules like grown-ups do. Zuri's eyes flashed. I know rules from mean, ma'am. Mama Aisha gave rules. Never mean about it. Nadia didn't teach. She hurt because she wanted to. The courtroom erupted. Gasps, murmurs. Nadia shot up, face flushing red. That lying brat, she shrieked, mask shattering. She's making it all up. Order! Ramirez banged her gavel hard. But Nadia raged on, hair flying wild. I was good to those ungrateful kids. Fed them, clothed them, while their dad ignored them. Elijah pulled Zuri close. Kai fussed in Harriet's arms. Hayes tugged Nadia's sleeve, desperate. Sit down. But Nadia shoved her off. You want truth? Fine. Yeah, I locked him when they acted up. Made him wait for food when greedy. Someone had to whip him into shape. The gallery buzzed chaotically. The bailiff moved in. Mrs. Thompson, control yourself, Ramirez snapped. But Nadia was unhinged, venom spitting. If Elijah wasn't such a shitty dad, chasing money over his own blood, none of this crap would have happened. Hayes yanked harder. Stop! Too late. Those kids needed hard lessons, Nadia bellowed. Ramirez slammed the gavel again. Mrs. Thompson, you're in contempt. Bailiff, remove her. The bailiff grabbed Nadia's arm. She thrashed, face twisted ugly, hair messed, makeup smeared. You'll regret this, she yelled as he dragged her out. Took everything from me. This ain't over. Door slammed. Silence crashed down. Ramirez exhaled deeply, turning to Zura still in the chair. You did right telling the truth, young lady. Helped me see clearlier. She addressed the room. I've seen the evidence. Photos, testimony, and this child's courage refusing fear's gag. Elijah held his breath. Clear to me. Nadia Thompson abused, neglected, and terrorized these kids systematically. Her courtroom blow-up confirmed Zuri's words on her true colors. Gavel poised. I grant Elijah Thompson full emergency custody of Zuri and Kai. Nadia Thompson was barred permanently from contact. Bang! Case referred to DA for criminal probe. Relief flooded Elijah, tears streaking as he hugged Zuri. Harriet wept joyfully. Daniel grinned, slapping his back. Kids safe. Nadia done. Justice hit hard. Relief crashed over Elijah like a wave as Judge Ramirez's gavel echoed through the courtroom. Full custody. Nadia is barred forever. The words hung heavy, real now. Zuri burrowed into his side, her small frame still buzzing from the stand. Kai gurgled in Harriet's arms, oblivious but safe. Daniel clapped his back hard. We did it, man. They're yours. Elijah nodded, throat tight, pulling Zuri closer. Couldn't without you. Or her. He ruffled Zuri's curls. She beamed up, tired but proud. The courtroom buzzed as folks filed out. Whispers, flashes from phones. Nadia was gone, hauled off in cuffs, but her venom lingered like bad air. Elijah scooped Kai, the baby's way to comfort now. Let's blow this popsicle stand, he said softly, forcing a grin for Zuri. Harriet wiped happy tears. Those babies, finally where they belong. Daniel gathered papers. Emergency orders airtight. Head home. I'll handle the rest. Outside, chaos hit. Reporters swarmed the steps like sharks on chum. Cameras flashing, mics thrusting. Mr. Thompson, reaction to the ruling? Advice for parents missing abuse signs? How long did it go on? Elijah shielded the kids, Zuri burying her face in his jacket, Kai fussing at the noise. Please, he barked, firm but calm. My family's been through hell. We just want to get home. But a voice sliced through. Nadia's, raw and raging. Elijah turned. She was being shoved into a squad car, wrists cuffed, but still spitting fire. Think you won, Elijah? Her eyes locked on him, wild. You stole everything. My life. My spot. The cop pushed her head down, but she twisted. Those kids will never be okay. I'll make sure. Zuri trembled. Elijah felt her fear spike. Rage boiled in him, but he swallowed it. You're wrong, he called back steadily, voice carrying over the frenzy. You didn't give your life for them. You tried to break theirs. But they're tougher than you, and they're safe now. That's it. He turned away, focusing on the kids. Daniel cleared a path. Harriet flanked them like a bodyguard. Reporters pressed, but Elijah ignored the shouts, buckling Zuri and Kai into the car with steady hands. As they pulled away, he glanced in the rear view. Nadia shrinking small in the cop car's back seat, power-stripped. Daddy, Kai babbled from his seat. Elijah smiled really for the first time in ages. Yeah, buddy, we're heading home, our real home. Zuri squeezed Kai's hand. It's okay now. Daddy's got us. 2 years later, morning sun streamed through the kitchen windows as Elijah leaned on the counter, sipping coffee, black and strong. The Palo Alto mansion hummed with life now. No more echoey silence. Outside, Zuri, 11 and fierce, knelt in the garden, showing Kai how to tie tomato vines with soft twine. Like Daddy showed, snug but not tight so they can grow, she said, voice patient like Aisha's used to be. Kai, 3 now and all energy, clapped dirt-smeared hands. Bigger tomatoes. Sauce for pasta? Elijah chuckled, heart full. Therapy had worked wonders, but time and love did the heavy lifting. Zuri had bloomed, confident, standing up for bullied kids at school, her curls wild and free. Kai filled the house with questions and laughs. Nightmares rare now. The garden was their healing spot, a memorial to Aisha, bursting with her favorite tea, blooms and veggies. Daddy, Kai spotted him. Come see. Elijah stepped out, fresh air hitting like a reset. He knelt in the dirt, suit be damned. Whoa, these are monsters. Best sauce ever, bud. Zuri grinned proudly. Harriet says Moma'd love how we're keeping it up. Elijah's throat caught. She would be proud of you both turning into these amazing kids. Scars lingered, occasional bad dreams, Zuri's wariness around new folks, but they thrived. Elijah had slashed travel, working remotely most days, always there for school drop-offs and bedtime stories. The house pulsed with chaos, homework battles at the table, Saturday pancakes sticky with syrup, hide-and-seek giggles echoing halls. Can we have ice cream after lunch? Kai wheedled. If we finish the wedding first, Elijah bargained, ruffling his hair. Deal, the kids chorused. As they worked side by side, pulling weeds, laughing at mud fights, Elijah reflected. No more ghost dad. He was all in, the father Aisha had seen in him. Glad you came home that night, Daddy, Zuri said quietly, tying a vine. Elijah's eyes stung. Me too, kiddo. And glad you were brave enough to speak up. She hugged him quickly. Saved us all. That evening, tucking Kai in, the boy yawned big. Stay home tomorrow too? Yup, not going anywhere. Love you, Daddy. Love you more, son. In Zuri's room, she read under the covers with a flashlight. Lights out, Missy. One more chapter? He caved with a smile. As he turned, she called softly. Thanks for believing me. Elijah's chest swelled. Thanks for trusting me enough to tell. Later, he stood at the window, moonlight bathing the garden, tomatoes standing tall, supported but free. Kids slept peacefully down the hall, safe and loved. When adults stop and really listen, kids escape shadows into light. Bravest voices often come from the smallest. Love and truth heal deepest wounds. The Thompsons had found their way home, at last. In the end, this story reminds us that when adults truly stop and listen, even the smallest voices can shatter the darkest secrets. And love, combined with unyielding truth, has the power to heal the deepest wounds. What about you? Have you ever had a moment where speaking up changed everything, or wished someone had listened sooner? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and perspectives. Stick around for our next video, where we'll dive into another gripping tale of resilience and redemption that might just hit close to home. Thanks so much for watching and being part of this journey with me. See you in the next one. Take care out there.